Grüß, willkommen in einem anderen Fragens video. Welcome to another exciting video, in this case episode 6 of my equipment series of videos. This video will be covering French World War II anti-aircraft guns or air defense guns, ADGs basically. What I'm going to attempt to do in this video is to provide an overview of the anti-aircraft guns used by the French in World War II, specifically in 1939 to 40. The Mac AA was a military-use der 7.5mm Mac Model 31 machine gun mounted on an AA mount, typically on vehicles or fortifications. As with most anti-aircraft machine guns of this type, its effectiveness was questionable. The Hotchkiss 13.2mm machine gun, also known as the Hotchkiss M1929 machine gun, was a heavy machine gun primarily intended for anti-aircraft use, designed and manufactured by French arms manufacturers Hotchkiss s6e from the late 1920s until World War II. The Orcleon 20mm cannon is a German-Swiss design, locally manufactured, as locally in France, anti-aircraft gun. In France, the company Hispano-Suzy manufactured the FFS, which is the French name for the 20mm cannon, at the Hispano-Suzy HS7 cannon and Hispano-Suzy HS9 cannon for installation between the cylinder banks of its V12 engines to be mounted in aircraft. Due to the emergency, the French quickly impressed as many of these weapons as they could into service, with 200 being available in May 1940 as ground-mounted anti-aircraft guns. The Hotchkiss 25mm anti-aircraft gun was an anti-aircraft autocannon designed by the French firm of Hotchkiss and intended for export. In 1940, the exported guns were held in France and impressed into domestic service. After World War I, the French military expressed a need for an anti-aircraft autocannon. The Hotchkiss company submitted its 25mm design, but it was rejected as being too slow firing, so the weapon was proposed for export instead. In 1938, as the international situation was worsening, the favoured Schneider 37mm autocannon was still not ready for production. The French military then decided to reconsider its refusal to Hotchkiss, who had just won a contract with Romania. The exported guns were held in France and impressed into domestic service. In May 1940, only a few hundred of these guns were in service. With them and only approximately 200 Orcleons, the lack of modern light anti-aircraft guns greatly hampered the French army during the campaign. The military-use D-37mm Schneider was an anti-aircraft automatic cannon employed in very small numbers at the beginning of World War II. Only 20 were available in 1940, which is a shame, as this actually was an excellent weapon. The Hotchkiss 47mm CA-M17 was a World War I era anti-aircraft guns based on the Canon Hotchkiss à la Rapide D45mm, a naval gun converted to anti-aircraft use. It was obsolete in 1940, but due to a lack of suitable weapons was still pressed into service. The Canon D75mm contre-aéroplane Model 1917 was an anti-aircraft variant of the 75mm M87 on a one-axle trailer with stabilizer legs. During the late 1920s, it was realized that the Model 1897 was outmoded as an anti-aircraft weapon, and development of a new gun barrel was begun in 1928. The goal of the rearmament program was faster rate of fire, higher muzzle velocity, increased vertical range, modern fire control, and greater mobility with new gun carriages. Priority for armaments was given to the Maginot Line fortifications as it was being built at the time, and work moved at a very slow pace in terms of production of this weapon system. Lack of funds meant that all three anti-aircraft versions of the Model 1897 were still used in large numbers when World War II began in 1939. It was estimated that 913 Model 1897 anti-aircraft guns were still in service in 1940. The Canon D75 contre-aéroplane Model 1936 Schneider was a French 75mm anti-aircraft gun designed and manufactured by Schneider. These guns were used by the French army during the Second World War. However, their numbers were never particularly great. The Canon der 75 Contra Avion Model 1940 Schneider was a improved heavy anti-aircraft gun designed and manufactured by Schneider. It was a modernised or upgrade version of the M1936 75mm anti-aircraft gun. Again, fairly small numbers. The Cannon D90mm Model 1926 was a light caliber dual-purpose gun, uses primary armaments on mine-sweeping sloops and anti-aircraft armaments on a number of French naval cruisers and battleships during World War II. A land-based mobile heavy anti-aircraft version called the Cannon der 90mm CA Model 1926 was also produced. It's likely only 17 of the land-based weapon was produced before 1940. In 1939, a modified version of the Model 1929 90mm gun was produced. This was shortened by 1 metre and called the Cannon D90mm CA Model 1939. Both models, that is the 1926 and 1939 models, were produced in limited numbers, and it's estimated that only 17 were built before 1940, although some sources claim there were 4 batteries of these guns deployed around Paris, which would mean more guns were available in 1940. I suspect the latter is actually accurate because the older 1926 model had around about 17 of these guns available, so it's highly likely that there was an additional number of guns for the more improved 1939 model. The A and B series infantry divisions were supposed to field 6 anti-aircraft guns, either the 20mm or 25mm anti-aircraft guns. Most would have been 25mm if they were available. As the French had only a total of about 1,200 of all these weapons, half would have been absorbed into the TO&E of the infantry divisions. The French chasseur divisions were also equipped with 6 light anti-aircraft guns, either 20mm or 25mm anti-aircraft guns. The motorised infantry divisions, or DIMs, were also equipped with 6 light anti-aircraft guns, once again 20mm or 25mm anti-aircraft guns. Also in the motorised infantry divisions, the armoured regiments contained 2 of the excellent 37mm anti-aircraft guns. The French mechanised cavalry divisions, or DLCs, contained 6 light anti-aircraft guns, again 20mm or 25mm anti-aircraft guns. The French mechanised cavalry divisions, or DLCs, contained 2 37mm anti-aircraft guns in each cavalry regiment. Possibly the best armoured division of the war, at least in 1940, the DLM, or the Mechanised Division, contained 6 light anti-aircraft guns, once again 20mm or 25mm anti-aircraft guns. Also within the DLM, or Mechanised Divisions, there were 2 37mm anti-aircraft guns in the Motorised Infantry Battalion. Finally, within the DLMs, there was 1 25mm anti-aircraft gun in each of the mechanised infantry battalions. The French armoured divisions, or DCR, which contained the famous Chard B heavy tanks, also contained 6 20mm or 25mm anti-aircraft guns at divisional levels, and within each mechanised battalion there was a single 25mm anti-aircraft gun. At the French corps level, all the medium and heavy anti-aircraft guns were assembled, which is not atypical, as well as possessing additional regiments of 25mm anti-aircraft guns. However, the total number was not particularly high. The French did not have many 90mm anti-aircraft guns, but we do know that there were 4 batteries that were positioned around Paris. Apart from this, I'm not aware of any 90mm anti-aircraft guns being used during the campaign. While I make no attempt at convincing anyone that this is an in-depth and historically accurate painting guide, it's a good starting place for anyone wishing to paint up their French anti-aircraft guns. It's likely they followed the same camouflage scheme as the field artillery. So we come to a close of my episode 6 of my equipment series of videos, in this case covering French World War II anti-aircraft guns. Alle guten Dinge, kommen zu einem Ende.